Good morning, sir. Good morning, Honorable Sir, Dean Sir, Shitangshu Sir, from ERS and DRA Kolani. Dean Sir, Maiti Sir, good morning, Hema Madam.
Good morning, good morning.
Thank you, ma'am. You're most welcome. Shortly, we are going to start. Just we are waiting for the MD, Dr. Mr. Bijin Krishna, to join. So let me confirm. Maiti sir, may I request you to just should I contact or you will call?
Okay, you can contact him, Lopa.
Okay.
Hello,
okay.
hello.
Yes, sir.
You just phone call to her and to him. Okay. And Doctor, you just contact Dr. Tapos Kora. You will just see all these things.
I'm calling Dr. Kaur. I'm calling Dr. Kaur. Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Kaur, he will just inform all. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure. Just 2 minutes.
ওটা কোন করে দাও মাইকটা কোন করে দাও মাইকটাকে আমি করি নি কোশ্চেন গেছে তো আরে ভালো আমার করার ছিল আজকে প্রোগ্রাম হচ্ছে বুঝলি তো মিল ডেতে
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Good morning.
Ma'am, all I बोल रहा हूँ ma'am.
वंडर, अरे वाह, नाइस. बहुत दिन बाद मिल रहे हो.
हाँ मैडम.
आप वहीं पर ही हो?
हाँ मैडम इधर ही.
Good.
Thank you, ma'am. मैडम मॉर्निंग
So I have just talked to Bijin Krishna sir. Sir is yet to join. Sir has already tried to join. So just okay. So please start.
With due permission of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, we'd like to start this program. So firstly, good morning, everyone. And on the behalf of Dairy Fraternity, I would like to wish you all a very happy National Milk Day. Today, we all have gathered here to celebrate virtually the birth anniversary, particularly it is the 100th birth anniversary of late Dr. Verghese Kurien, sir, who is also popularly known as the milkman of India. As Dr. Kurien used to say, India's place in the sun would come from the partnership between the wisdom of its rural people, that is our dairy farmers, and with the skill of its professional. So keeping our beloved dairy farmers in mind, the ICAR-World Bank funded Nahe Paiji project of dairy faculty has kept the theme of this program Dynamic Dairy Cooperative Farmers Delight. Today, we have with us the respected Dean, Professor Torun Kanti Maiti of Faculty of Dairy Technology. We are also having respected Dean of Faculty of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Professor Nilotpal Ghosh, sir. Not only that, we are privileged to have with us the Directorate of Research Extension and Farms, Professor Subhasis Botobel sir. Also, we are having with us the respected Registrar sir, Professor Partho Das sir. Apart from this, we are also blessed to have with us the former Dean of our faculty, Professor Maloy Kumar Sarnal sir. Not only that, we are also privileged to have with us Dr. Shutangsu Mohan Dev sir, who is the head of ICAR NDRI ERS Kalyani branch. Thank you sir for coming on this platform. We are also privileged to have with us today's guest of honor, Dr. Hema Tripathi madam, who is the national coordinator of NAHEP IG project. And the main thing that today's chief guest of this program, Mr. Bijin Krishna sir, who is the IAS officer and also the managing director of West Bengal Milk Federation, he is also with us today in this platform. And not only that, we are also having the Honorable Vice Chancellor, who is the president of today's occasion, Professor Chanchal Guha sir, with us. Thank you, sir. In spite of your busy schedule, today you are with us. Apart from this, we are also having all our beloved and respected faculty members with us and my dear students today in this platform. So with this now, I would like to request one of our MTech student, Mr. Diptomoy Bhattacharya, to inaugurate the program with a beautiful song. Over to Diptomoy.
Sir.
Yeah, Diptomoy, you are audible. You can go on.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible. Please go on.
So, good morning, all and all. Today is National Milk Day, which is very close to our heart as dairy technologist, and the milkman will always reside in our heart and take a special place. So, this song is for him and all the dairy fraternity. আমার ভিতর বাহিরে অন্তরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয়ে জুড়ে আমার ভিতর বাহিরে অন্তরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয়ে জুড়ে ঢেকে রাখে যেমন কুসুম পাপড়ি রাব ডালে ফসলের ঘুম ঢেকে রাখে যেমন কুসুম পাপড়ি রাব ডালে ফসলের ঘুম তেমনি তোমার নিবিড় চলা তেমনি তোমার নিবিড় চলা মরমের মূল পথ ধরে আমার ভিতর বাহিরে অন্তরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয়ে জুড়ে পুষে রাখে যেমন ঝিনুক খোলসের আবরণে মুক্তার সুখ পুষে রাখে যেমন ঝিনুক খোলসের আবরণে মুক্তার সুখ তেমনি তোমার গভীর চাওয়া তেমনি তোমার গভীর চাওয়া ভিতরের নীল অন্তর বাহিরে অন্তরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয়ে জুড়ে ভালো আছি ভালো থেকো আকাশের ঠিকানায় চিঠি লিখো ভালো আছি ভালো থেকো আকাশের ঠিকানায় চিঠি লিখো দিও তোমার মালা খানি দিও তোমার মালা খানি বাউলেই মনটারে আমার ভিতর বাহিরে অন্তরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয়ে জুড়ে আমার ভিতর বাহিরে অন্তরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয়ে জুড়ে থ্যাংক ইউ
Thank you, Diptomay, for singing such a beautiful song. So through your song, you have very nicely cleared the fact that even though Kurien sir today here is not with us, but he still remains within our mind. Every day we remember him. Thank you, Diptomay, for such a beautiful song. So with this now, I would like to request the respected Dean of our dairy faculty, Professor Torun Kanti Maiti sir, to give the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Partho. Good morning. Good morning to each and everyone present here. Today with us, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Chanchal Guho, Mr. Bijan Krishnan, IAS, the Managing Director, West Bengal Cooperative Milk Producers Federation Limited, also the chief guest of today's program, Dr. S.M. Dev, Head and PS, ICAR-World Kalyani ARS, and special guest, Dr. Hema Tripathi, National Coordinator, NAHEF, ICAR New Delhi. Also, the guest of honor of today's programs. Also, we have with us Professor Nilotpal Ghosh, Dean Faculty of Veterinary Science, Professor T.J. Abraham, Dean Faculty of Fishery Sciences, Professor Partho Das, Registrar of our University, Professor S. Portobel, Director of Research, Extension and Farms of our University, Dr. Lopamutra Haldar, Associate Professors, and PI of National Agricultural Higher Education Project, ICAR. All the teachers, officers of our university, distinguished persons, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is honor and privilege for me to welcome you all on behalf of our Faculty of Dairy Technology and National Agricultural Higher Education Project, New Delhi, for this very auspicious occasions of National Milk Day. A day like today is a very pleasant moment as we have with us Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Chanchal Guho, who is the dynamic leader of new vision, mission, and goal of our university, and also the president of this program is with us. I welcome you, sir. We feel extremely fortunate to have with us Mr. Bijan Krishnan, IAS, the Managing Director, West Bengal Cooperative Milk Producers Federation Limited. Also, the chief guest of today's program is among us. I welcome you, sir. I also extend my warm welcome, Dr. Hema Tripathi, National Coordinators, NAHEF, ICAR New Delhi. Also, the guest of honor for your gracious presence with us. I am extremely honored and privileged for getting Dr. S.M. Dev, Head and PS, ICAR-World Kalyani ARS, and special guest of today's program. I also welcome you, sir. I'm delighted to welcome Professor Partho Das, the Registrar of our University, for your gracious presence with us, I'm extremely honored and privileged for getting Professor Nilotpal Ghosh, Dean Faculty of Veterinary Science, Professor T.J. Abraham, Dean Faculty of Fishery Sciences, Professor S. Botobel, DIF, and Dean Students Welfare of our university, and Professor M.K. Sannal, the ex-Dean of our Faculty of Biotechnology, with us. I also welcome you, sir. I also welcome all the distinguished scientists, eminent persons, all teachers, all officers, and all the students and staff members of our university, and also other persons who have joined in our programs. Today is National Milk Day. Our country celebrates National Milk Day on November 26th in every year. We all know that this day marks the birth anniversary of Dr. Verghese Kurien, the father of white revolutions in India. Today is the 100th birth anniversary of Dr. Kurien's. The idea of observing the National Milk Day was first mooted by Indian Dairy Corporation's IDA in 2014. We all know that Dr. Kurien is regarded as the architect of India's white revolutions. He dedicated his life to the cause of empowering the humble Indian farmers through cooperatives. India now stands as the largest milk producers among the world for the last 4 decades. On these very auspicious occasions, we salute Dr. Kurien, the real hero of Indian milk and dairy industry. Today, our country is self-sufficient in milk, and our dairy farming is considered milk productions around to about 198 million metric tons in the fiscal year 2020, projected milk productions to increase to 208 million tons in 2021, which is a good news for Indian farmers and also Indian consumers. This is a positive news for some 80 million rural households who are engaged in milk productions as a source of their livelihood. The milk productions in the country has an increase of 6.5% over previous years, but in 1950s, the situation was not the way it seems today. At that period of times, India was not able to fulfill the need of milk to the citizens, because of which milk was imported from other countries to fulfill the daily needs. Today, if we are self-sufficient in milk and any dairy products, is just because of Dr. Verghese Kurien's efforts. The main motive behind the celebrations of National Milk Day is to make people aware about the importance of milk in person's life. It is the first food that child consumes after birth and is perhaps the food consumed throughout life. So it is very important. Most of the nutrients that human body requires is present in milk. The milk and milk products are very important for human health. Milk is called a complete diet because it contains all the important nutrients such as protein, fat, minerals, carbohydrate, iodines, potassium, vitamin B12, vitamin B2, and phosphorus. And it's not just milk. Many other products made from milk like ghee, cottage cheese, and yogurt satisfy the taste bud and adds essential nutrients to the body as well. Milk is the first food of a person's and is an important part of child's diet for better health and growth. Until and unless a child is a lactose tolerant, milk must not be excluded from a person's daily diet. Today's theme of this program is Dynamic Dairy Cooperative the farmer's delight. We are very much happy that in the year 2020, over 2 lakhs dairy cooperative societies were present across the country. The northern part of our country has the highest number of cooperative societies, over 75,000 that years. We feel very proud that India's Amul brand is the world's largest milk cooperative in the world. Today, we have a lot of personalities with us. We would like to hear more from them. With these few words, I would like to conclude here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for giving such a brief introduction regarding the current status of milk and milk products. You have very rightly briefed, and I think, and also very nicely you have given the welcome address. Thank you very much, sir. So with this now, I'd like to request one of our beloved student, Mr. Arnab Das of BTech third year, to pay homage to late Dr. Verghese Kurien. Over to you, Arnab. Arnab, are you able to hear me? Arnab? Okay, I think he has got some network issue. So we will go to our... Arnab, have you come?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
please.
am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please go on.
Okay. Good morning to all my respected teachers. Good morning to all my respected teachers, my seniors, dear yearmates and juniors, and all the respected dignitaries present here. Happy National Milk Day to all. At the very beginning, I, Arnab Das, students of third year, Faculty of Dairy Technology, want to convey my sincere respect to the father of White Revolution and the architect of Operation Flag. Dr. Verghese Kurien said, popularly known as the milkman of India. From the book, As a Man Thinketh, written by James Allen, we can understand the power of thoughts helps you and cultivate the philosophy and attitude of a positive and successful person. Dr. Verghese Kurien is a great example of this. The words coming out by his thought is, our cities thrive at the expenses of our villages. And that's why he has pioneered the Anand pattern in India and gave self-sustainability to millions of farmers of our country. His brainchild, Anand pattern, is still running successfully at the heart of rural India. Padma Vibhushan Dr. Kurien sir was a social entrepreneur, an innovative entrepreneurship of its kind, because he was successful to establish the partnership between wisdom of India's rural people and the skill of professionals. As a man, he was very idealistic. Dr. Kurien sir taught us the importance of time management and integrity in life, and these are the basic tools for success in life. He told us that our privileged life should not be wasted at any cost. We have to use our talents to the best of our ability to do something in life, so that we can contribute to the life of common people. In order to do that, we have to be honest with ourselves first. As Dr. Verghese Kurien has said, that it does not take much effort in always being honest with others. Personal integrity is the most important value in our life. And that's why he said, true development is not the development of land and cows. It's the development of man and woman. Once, J.A. Hobson, a political scientist, said, economy is empire. In the era of 21st century, we are somehow able to fulfill his dream. Dr. Kurien sir has a vision to self-sustainability economy for Indians, especially for rural India. He proved his words that in every crisis, if you look carefully, you will spot an opportunity. After independence, India was like an infant country. quality and availability of milk was very poor. From that milk deficient stage to today's #1 position in milk production around the globe. It's really a great achievement which will be written with golden words in history. We say the basic needs of we say the basic needs of a human being is roti, kapra, makan. And for all these, we need financial support, or we can say employment. After the crisis of COVID-19 pandemic, unemployment is the biggest challenge in India. As a dairy professional, we have to motivate more and more people into India's agricultural and allied sector to generate more employment. I firmly believe that entrepreneurship is in the blood of Indians, and when we see that students from different streams apart from dairy technology, we realize that our rural another to conclude that we must build on the resources represented by our young professionals and by our own nations farmers. Without their involvement, we cannot succeed. We cannot succeed. With their involvement, we cannot fail. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Arnav, for saying such beautiful words regarding Mr. Kurien. So as you have very rightly pointed out that Mr. Kurien used to always focus on the integrity and the honesty of a person. So from his livelihood or from his life, we should take this motive and we should also try to be integrated and to be honest so much that we should be able to dedicate our life for the upliftment of the farmers. Thank you, Arnav. So now I would like to request the respected registrar of our university, Professor Partho Das sir, to address the gathering. Over to you, sir. Registrar sir? Yes, sir.
Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please carry
Okay. Namaskar and very good morning to all of you. At the very outset, I, on behalf of my university, welcome you all. In today's function, amongst us, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Chanchal Guho, Mr. Bijin Krishna, IAS, Managing Director, West Bengal Milk Federation, Dr. Hema Tripathi, National Coordinator, NAHEF, ICAR New Delhi, presents as a guest of honor. Dr. SM De, Head ICR NDRI ERS, Kollani Nadia, is present as a special guest. I welcome you all, sir. Amongst us, in today's function, we have Dean of 3 faculties. Amongst us, our ex-dean, Professor M.K. Shanal, is also present with us. And also, Professor Dr. Shubhashish Bhatokbal, Director of Research and Extension and DSW, he is also with us. I welcome you again on behalf of the university, sir. So at the very beginning, I pay my deepest respect to Dr. Verghese Kurien, the dawn of Indian milk revolution. Dairy products, dairy society, dairy cooperatives, dairy products, everything is having a correlation with the name of Dr. Verghese Kurien. During our student days, I had the opportunity to visit the dairy plant of Amul. I become so delighted when I have been visiting the butter manufacturing unit, and when I saw the lot of, rather say the heap of butter is being gathered there, and I become so delighted to say, is it possible? Even then, when I was in abroad and see the brand of Amul is just viewing from the showcase of the shopping mall, and I feel myself very much proud to be an Indian. So the man, we cannot think anything without him. It is not possible to render such type of journey of the dairy sector in India. Now we are full-fledgedly sufficient with milk production. Still then what I can say, milk production is being done by number of Indian farmers. But the production, though we are the first milk producing country in the world, but it is still less in mass. And we know that about 80% of the everyday milk which we are procuring for milk and milk products is coming from the unorganized sector. So still there is a scopes to establish the dairy cooperative sector in India for upliftment of rural economy. There is a success story behind this dairy industry, dairy society, as compared to the other cooperative society which are there in, like in the textile industry, in the sugarcane industry. Why this? In other society, there are political interferences very much, and that may be one of the reasons why these societies are not developing like that of the dairy sector, dairy societies. Cooperative movement and cooperative society, it is a long old decade, and by default I myself is a secretary and heading a cooperative society since last 7 and 8 years. I know how this microfinancing and these cooperative systems giving benefit to each and everyone for social upliftment, for social livelihood. And we all know, those who are sitting over here, we all know that mostly the women population, women sector, they are engaging mostly in the dairy farming. And so it is one of the most important sector where we can ease the gender inequality in the social sector. So we must give emphasis more and more about the philosophy of Dr. Verghese Kurien, if we can remember in that way, to spread this cooperative concept, particularly in dairy sector, for upliftment of the dairy industry. So with this few words, I will not lengthen my lecture. I am very much thankful for inviting me to in presence of this August gathering to say something. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for addressing us. And as you have very rightly pointed out, the already established Anand model throughout our country, and we can uplift the dairy sector in our country. Thank you very much, sir, again. So now I would like to request Professor Subhasis Bottabal, sir, who is the Director of Research, Extension and Farms, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ji. My ma'am also in IVRI, Dr. S.M. Dev sir, from NDRI, Sri Bijan Krishna sir, Professor Partho Das, Registrar of our university, Professor T.K. Maiti, Dean, Dairy Technology, Professor Nirotpal Ghosh, Dean, Veterinary Faculty, Professor Abraham sir, Fishery Faculty, our ex-professor, Professor Malay Kumar Sennal, all the dignitaries present for today's seminar, respected teachers and beloved students. Today we are celebrating 100th birth anniversary of Dr. Verghese Kurien as National Milk Day. So on the behalf of NAHEP and Faculty of Dairy Technology as well as from the university, I welcome you all. My best wishes to all the persons who are involved here to promote our dairy industry, our dairy fraternity. We know that Dr. Kurien, actually he was the mechanical engineer, and how he is becoming known as the father of white revolution and the milkman of India. Since 2014, every year we are observing this Kurien's birth anniversary as National Milk Day. Now we know from mechanical engineer how he become the milkman, and that is the history we know all. Actually, the milk, we know that milk is a complete food for us and get all the nutrients required by our body. But even being such an essential commodity in 1950s, 60s, we are unable to fulfill this basic need of people. Even though we had the largest cattle population milk in 1950, and the per capita availability of milk was also very low, close to 124 gram per day. It was then the son of Kerala, Dr. Kurien, a mechanical engineer, took this charge. However, this story entering into the dairy field is very interesting. It was only when Tribhuvan Das Patel, the founding actually that member of Amul, asked him to repair one dairy equipment, then only he became associated with the dairy field. After being associated with Tribhuvan Das ji, he helped him to set up the first dairy cooperative and establish the popular Anand model. In 1965, Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri ji tasked Kurien ji to replicate the dairy's Anand scheme nationwide, for which the National Dairy Development Board was founded under Kurien. From here, Dr. Kurien took the lead to change the dairy field of India. Though his billion-liter idea, he launched the operational flood in India, which significantly increased the milk production and its related processing in India, in country. Under him only, the India became the largest milk producer in 1998. He not only made India milk sufficient, but also ensured that 70 to 80% of milk's price reaches to farmers, so that they can become self-reliable. Today, our country is the largest milk producer in the world, producing almost 187.7 million tons of milk in 1819, and per capita milk availability also increased to 394 grams per day. Thus, it can be clearly stated that without Dr. Kurien, it was not possible for us to achieve this feat. Dr. Kurien has been honored with so many awarded with Padma Vibhushan, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Ramon Magsaysay Award, and many other awards. Now, this year, as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the Union government will commemorate the National Milk Day by distributing the National Gopal Ratna Awards in a ceremony at the National Dairy Development Board campus in Anand. On the behalf of our university, I would like to pay my respect on behalf of my students fraternity, on behalf of my dairy fraternity, on all the researchers from the dairy field and all the veterinary field. I must convey my regards to Dr. Kurien and all the respected persons who are involved and now who are also involved in this dairy sector to commemorate this birthday and for the improvement of our dairy sector. Thank you once again, our NAHEP project and dairy faculty, for celebrating this 100th anniversary of Dr. Kurien. Thank you Marcel.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing us the valuable contributions given by Dr. Kurien Saab. Thank you, sir, once again. So before going any further, I would like to ask one of our students, Mr. Orin Nandi of third year, to pay tribute to Dr. Verghese Kurien sir by sharing one video. Over to you, Orin. Orin, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir, I am presenting.
Okay. Please share your screen. Orin, the sound is not audible. Can you please increase the sound? Orin, you have muted yourself. We will be not able to hear if you mute.
Sir, don't know, but maybe some technical glitches. Sound is not coming, sir.
Okay, then if you are not able to hear, then it's okay. So then let us keep it, because if you are not able to hear, the purpose would be not served. Okay. So now we'd like to go to our next speaker, Professor Molloy Kumar Sannal sir, our former dean of our dairy faculty and
Sir,
also
এক মিনিট বলছি
our
সাউন্ডটা দেয়া
respected
যাবে
mentor.
একটু অন্যভাবে করলে সাউন্ডটা দেয়া যাবে।
We will come to you later, okay?
ওকে স্যার, থ্যাঙ্কস।
Okay, so I would like to request Molloy Kumar Sannal sir to please address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Partha Pratim.
Thank you.
So,
Welcome,
at
sir.
the outset, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So at the outset, let me thank the organizers for inviting me to be present on this webinar. And with the respected chief guest of today's function, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, respected 3 deans from the Faculty of Dairy Technology, Veterinary and Animal Science, and Fishery Sciences, Registrar of the University, Dr. Partha Das, Director in the Directorate of Research, Extension and DREF, Dr. Subhashish Vatobbal, Dr. S.M. Dev, my old friend, Head ERS of NDRI, Dr. Hema Tripathi. I worked with her in IVRI long back. Our teachers, students, ladies and gentlemen. Now, today is the birth centenary of Dr. Verghese Kurien, a doyen of Indian dairy industry, who, with the help of Tribhuvandas Patel, Dr. Dalaya, and others, transformed the lives of millions of poor dairy farmers, and also transformed the sellers market. Milk was earlier used to be sold in the sellers market, means the seller was the supreme. Buyers did not have any choice. And Kurien, because of Operation Flood, changed that, converted that sellers market into a buyer's market. Today, the buyers have option. They can purchase milk and products from any organization they want. So this is a paradigm shift in dairy situation, which Dr. Kurien brought about. Now we all know Indian economy is essentially an agrarian in nature, and dairying is an important component and also important instrument for social upliftment. Now, if we see out of the total milk produced, that is almost 188 million tons today, about 50% is the marketable surplus. So there is huge opportunity to utilize gainfully this marketable surplus 50% milk. Only 35% milk is currently being processed. And out of this 35% milk, the organized sector, excluding cooperative sector, is processing 6% only. And the cooperative sector is processing 7%. 22% is being processed by the unorganized sector. Now, if we see the pattern of milk trading, then we find that liquid milk is sold, 50% of the total milk is liquid milk to Western dairy products, and 35% is converted into traditional Indian dairy products. So this is the scenario in Indian dairy. Now we find there are mainly 3 modes of dairy business. Number 1 is government or public sector. Number 2, cooperative sector. Number 3, private sector. Now, out of these 3 mode of dairy business, you will find the private sector is the most successful one. And then next is cooperative sector, and government sector is the least successful. And in most of the states, it is incurring losses. If we see in West Bengal, we'll find barring 1 or 2 cooperatives, most of the cooperatives are incurring losses. Private sector is successful mainly because the decision-making process is very fast there, and the work environment is also better. Now, though cooperative has potential to bring about social transformation, there are certain constraints, particularly in the context of West Bengal I will be speaking. Now, these constraints I will list as, first of all, questionable quality of the products, which is mainly due to lack of clean milk production. That means I want to say that the common people are very quality conscious nowadays, but they doubt the quality of the milk we get from the cooperatives, and that is where we have to intervene. That's very important area, and it is a huge task. And then next is lack of professional approach. Now, Amul is successful because everything is managed by professionals. That is the role model for cooperative movement. And then lack of cooperation among the different stakeholders. That is also witnessed in West Bengal. Third is political interference. Political parties, they find gold, they consider this cooperative as gold mine, because if they can capture one cooperative in a particular district, the entire population of the district, particularly rural population, they can contact them and influence them. So it is very difficult in West Bengal's context to keep away the cooperative movement from political interference. And that we have to do. It is a very difficult task, but we have to do. Otherwise, we cannot succeed. Then lack of awareness among farmers. Farmers still are adulterating milk, and that is very visible everywhere. A lot of unwanted materials are being mixed in milk, and the milk is being adulterated. That is one. So lack of awareness is another reason. Then lack of proper marketing, aggressive marketing, I will say, and proper advertisement. That is also required, which are not being done by the cooperatives. Then there is heavy post-production losses as far as milk is concerned. A large quantity of milk is soured every day. Then inadequate research, because research is required to be successful in long run. The impact of a research is felt after a considerable time lag, but the return of the research is substantial and in the village areas. So that also we have to reduce as far as possible, if not eliminate. It is cooperative offer. It can bring about economic improvement of a large number of people, particularly the landless, small and marginal farmers. And then there is great opportunity for food business in India, because on an average, an Indian spends about 40 to 50% of his total income on food. So there is tremendous opportunity. So that we have to exploit. Then we have not given much emphasis on traditional Indian dairy products where profit can be earned, because in traditional Indian dairy products, you will find that sugar is sold as sweet. The cost of sugar, which is normally around 40 rupees per kg, is sold at the rate of 400 rupees kg, because most of our products is full with sugar. It's a sweet mix. So all these we have to see, and we have to exploit this for our gain. Now, to conclude, I will say that the government should be facilitator for the cooperative movement and not the regulator. That is one thing. And there should be zero tolerance to the food safety and much emphasis on the clean milk production. Then professional management at all levels. Then very little or free from political interference, another thing. Research and development, education of the stakeholders, including the consumers, and we have to also shed our legendary lethargy. We are lethargic people basically, and because we only react to a situation, We are not proactive. So that also we have to shape, and we have to create a future. And in that future, the organization, dairy organization I'm talking about, should be there. That will be the real success achieved by the cooperative sector. And that is not possible without the participants of all stakeholders, including the farmers. And finally, I will conclude my speech with the demand for Bharat Ratna to Dr. Verghese Kurien. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing us this dairy scenario of our country and also of our West Bengal. Sir, you have very nicely pointed out that what are the current constants our West Bengal dairy cooperative is facing. So I hope these points will be noted and it will be worked upon. And sir, your demand of Bharat Ratna is really, it should be given to Kurien, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for pointing such a fact. Thank you, sir. So with this, our special guest of our today's occasion, Dr. Shitangsu Mohan Deb, sir. So before sir starts his lecture, I would like to briefly introduce sir. Dr. Shitangsu Mohan Deb, sir, has done his Bachelor in Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry from BCKV in 1985. After this, he has completed his master's degree and doctoral degree from National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal. Sir has got almost 30 years of teaching experience, and also he has served as the head of various institutes such as NDRI, CIRB, and CAZRI. Apart from it, Sir has also completed almost 18 research projects, and Sir has published almost nearly 100 research papers, 4 books, and has guided 15 PG students. Also, Sir, one of the significant contribution of Sir is, so with this brief introduction of Sir, I would now like to request Sir to please address the gathering. Over to you, Sir. Sir, you are not audible, sir. Sir, no sound, sir.
তোকে দিয়ে দেবো আমার প্রেজেন্টেশনটা।
Go for the next and ask him for this troubleshoot.
Sir, can we now move to the next speaker? Sir, you can solve the technical glitch, then again we can come to you. Sir.
Okay, sure.
Sir, okay. Thank you very much, sir. So now I would like to request the guest of honor of our today's occasion, Dr. Hema Tripathi Madam, to address the gathering. But before ma'am starts her lecture, I would like to briefly introduce her also. So Madam has done her graduation from G.V. Pant University, Pantnagar in 1983, after which she has completed her MSc and PhD in Extension Education from IVRI, Izatnagar, UP in 1987 and 1991 respectively. Madam has done an excellent contribution in animal science extension field. She has also completed almost 11 institute projects and 4 externally funded projects. Apart from it, Madam has served as a program coordinator of a KVK in IVRI for 13 years. She has also given a severe significant contribution in this KVK, and due to her contribution only, the KVK bagged the Best KVK Award in Zone 4 by ICAR in 2011. Also, apart from this, Madam has done significant contribution in his research field. She has completed 300 research papers. She has also published various books, abstracts, bulletins, and various popular articles. Apart from it, Madam has got almost 25 years of experience in teaching and supervising various postgraduate students. She has guided almost to kindly address the gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Am I
Yes, ma'am,
audible?
you are audible.
Okay. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor, West Bengal University of Animal and Fishery Sciences, Professor Guha, and President of today's function, Chief Guest, Mr. Bijin Krishna, Managing Director of West Bengal Milk Federation, our special guest, Sanyal, ex-Dean Dairy College, Dr. Partha Das, Registrar of the University, Professor, Director Research, Extension and Farms, and many other deans who are present here, Dr. Lopamudra, Associate Professor and PI of the IG project, various faculty members participating in the program, Dr. Partha, and dear students. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me in today's celebration on the occasion of the National Milk Day to commemorate the birth centenary of the late Dr. Verghese Kurien, father of India's White Revolution and also known as the Milkman of India. So indeed, it is a very great honor to me to be here today. The theme of the celebration is also very pertinent in today's context, that is the dynamic dairy cooperative and the farmers' debate. So this is the real tribute to Dr. Kurien on his day, remembering his work, his life, who actually gave his billion-liter idea to feed millions and proved the power of markets for the smallholders. So Dr. Kurien empowered the farmers. He was instrumental in propagating, we can say, the idea of the Atmanirbharta. His idea laid foundation stone of the self-reliant India in the milk production. So when we talk about the National Milk Day, we see that the Indian, earlier speakers also said that the Indian dairy industry has progressed from a situation of the scarcity to the plenty. Dairy farmers today are better informed about the technologies of more efficient milk production and their economics. Even the landless and the marginal farmers, now they own highly productive cows and the buffaloes in many areas. When we talk about the application of the modern technology and the advancement of the management system in the production, the processing and marketing, that have also brought the marked changes in the marketplace. If we see the consumer's point of view, now the range of the choices of the products are available in the various packages. And the operational flood program implemented by the NDDB played a key role. Opportunities often are not available in the villages. But animal husbandry and dairy farming, especially dairy, is one of the attractive options of many villagers, even amongst the youth. Steady returns make dairying a preferred activity. Among the minor small farmers, that comes about 57%. That means those who are having the less than 2 hectares of land, and even landless who depend upon the fodder on the common grazing lands and the forest areas. The majority of our milk producers are having the 1 to 2 milk animals, and that account to some about the 70% of the milk production. On an average, 22.5% of the income from the rural household is contributed by the milk only. So starting in 1970, NDDB replicated the Anand pattern cooperative through the operational flood all over the India with primary objective, we know, just to create the national milk grid and to diminish the malpractices of the milk traders and the merchants. So what this all did, this all transformed India into the largest producer of milk and transformed the lives of the farmers. Not only the farmers, but the health of the citizens of the country also. Has increased 17 million tons to 200 million tons. Now, recent data says it is 200 million, but that is the increase in the 12 times, more than 12 times, and has become our major contributing states. However, this was not the case a few decades ago. The country used to be milk deficient and imported milk from the other countries to serve its growing population. The journey from being a deficit country to becoming the world's largest milk producing nation is exemplary, has been exemplary. So India accounts for over 1/5 of the global milk production, and this is followed by the US and China. However, the success did not come overnight. It took years to develop a sector and led to achievement in the food security. It generating employment opportunities, especially to the women, boosting a regular source of income for the households in the rural India, as well as in reducing the poverty. So where dairy is single largest agriculture community, we can say the commodity that is contributing 5% to the national economy. Somebody has also said earlier this. And it is witnessing 6.4% of the compound annual growth rate in the last 5 years. And it is expected that in 2022, the Indian dairy industry is expected to be grow to 9 to 11%. A study has been conducted by the NDDB into that in 2030, at an all India level, there will be the milk production will be 266.5 metric tons for the milk and the products. Our demand will be like this. When we talk about this is the production side. When we say about the availability side, per capita milk availability in India is more than 400 grams per day. It is quite high than the recommended per capita milk availability in India, that is a 280 grams, even more than the world average as per the data of the 1920. So India is the largest not only the producer, but though it is highest producer, but ranked 93 number in milk productivity. So the low milk productivity is major issue for India, and according to global milk productivity, the milk in 1900. In India, the milk yield is one. If we see the milk yield average, that is in India we have the only 1,698.1 kg per animal per year. Against the US, that is about the 10,590, and the UK it is touching 8,000. So several measures have been initiated by the government to increase the productivity of the livestock. That has resulted in increasing the milk production significantly. NDDB is promoting technology-driven activities for the milk producers. Recently, the web version of the eGopala application and IMAP web portal that has been developed by the NDDB is recently launched by our Union Minister, by Shri Purushottam Rupalaji. Because this particular app is providing the real-time information to the dairy farmers for better productivity. This particular app has the mechanism to send the alerts that what is the due date of the vaccination, pregnancy diagnosis, calving, and inform the farmers about the various schemes. Not only this, but our ministry has launched a scheme, namely, we all know that is the supporting dairy cooperatives and the farmers producers organizations that is engaged in 2017 and 18. And this scheme is being implemented by the National Dairy Development Board. Another special drive has been undertaken by the department of providing all dairy farmers, milk cooperatives, and the milk producer companies with the Kisan credit cards. So far, more than 13 lakh fresh KCC have been sanctioned for the farmers, for the dairy farmers. So the government of India, in association with the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, even announced $2.1 billion as infrastructure development fund with an interest subsidy scheme to promote the investment by the private players and MSME in dairy and meat and animal feed plants. And it is expected that this will may create the 3.5 million jobs in this sector. So we cannot say that the contribution of the Dr. Kurien is not limited to the farmers, but the enhancing for the women farmers also serve the pathways because of the financial stability and contributing to the women economic empowerment. Now there are more than 1,90,000 dairy cooperative societies across the country with approximately 6 million women members, 800 million, and celebrating their economic independence. So you can see the massive involvement of these women because they have increased the income. Even in 2020, if you might have seen that the Amul Dairy released a list of the 10 women dairy farmers who became the millionaires by selling milk to the company. So not only this, they got freedom from the clutches of. Now the National Commission of Women launched a nationwide training program and the capacity building program for the women in the dairy farming. And to launch this training program, NCW is collaborating with the agriculture universities in India in order to identify and train women farmers. Recently, one program was organized on the value-added dairy products at the Lovas. So the NDDB is showing the proactive, the network is increasing. It is also a leadership among the women. In many instances, this becomes the first step of women. They are breaking free with the traditional practices. So if one study, I can just make a point here, the study across the Rajasthan showed that with the income generated through dairy, 31% of the women had converted their mud houses to the cement structures. Now you can see the economic change, social economic change. While 39% had constructed the concrete sheds for their cattle. So even this small and the minor farmers have access to only 50 to 70% that large and medium farmers have. So that means the information asymmetry is also covering, symmetry is coming due to this. So thus, although a lot have been done for strengthening infrastructure, production of the quality milk, procurement, processing, marketing, etc., but still there are the number of the challenges before us to address. My earlier speakers has also said. So though the dairy has a lot of potential to improve the rural income, nutrition, women empowerment, but hence it is a critical area for the continuous investment. A well-developed industry will enable millions of the farmers to capitalize on the emerging opportunities so that they can make the significant impact on the rural income. So to carry out the interventions, what I feel that we require the resources and the commitment from not only the one stakeholder, but from the various key actors, whether it is a government, it is an NGO, it is a development agencies, NDDB, that all need partnership and work together as partners in the convergence mode. So this I want to give the message. So I wish the success of this program with the hope that now few new ideas and the commitments that will be generated for the implementation for overall development. And this will be the real tribute to our father of white revolution today, Dr. Verghese Kurien, who was great architect and great visionary of the viable development program in India. So at last, I extend my thanks to the authorities of the West Bengal University of the Animal and Fishery Sciences for giving me the opportunity to say a few words on this occasion, and also for the kind support in successful carrying out the IG project, Innovation Grant Project, and organizing the various activities under this project. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, madam. It is our privilege that you have spared our time and you are present in this meeting today. Thank you very much, madam. Madam, as you have very nicely pointed out the current dairy statistics of our country, and also you have very nicely emphasized that how government and NDDB and our Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying is always fighting to improve the current status of dairy in our country. And also, madam, you have focused that how the pathways led by Verghese Kurien is now enhancing the women empowerment and improving their livelihood. So, madam, your entire lecture has enlightened us. Mohan Dev sir has already cleared his technical glitch. So I think, sir, now you can address us. Sir?
Yeah, thank you. I am audible now. I'm just sharing my presentation. It is now visible now?
It is visible.
Okay.
So you can please make it in slideshow mode, sir.
I made slideshow. It is not showing?
Yeah, it is showing, sir. Means full screen I am talking about, sir.
Yeah, full screen. For me it is showing, no? Let me again try this. It is visible now, no?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
It is in the slide share mode.
Yes, yes, sir. Slide share mode only, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I'm very
जैसे
sorry.
यहाँ नीचे जहाँ पे लिखा है ना परसेंट, उसके पास में जो वो बनी हुई है एक इस तरह का, उस पे आप क्लिक कर दीजिए, देन इट विल बी द ऑन द स्लाइड शो, फुल स्क्रीन पे आ जाएगा। जहाँ पे परसेंट लिखा है ना सर नीचे, उसके पास में एकदम।
Yeah, I did that.
ओके ओके ओके।
My screen says no, it is a power slide.
Slides are shared, but sir, when you will be scrolling, na, sir, it might not be means the other PPTs might not be visible. So, sir, no, sir, it is not moving in this, but slides are visible.
Ajay, can you come? Ajay. It will be enter screen or window? Can you
Sir,
anybody?
it would be entire screen, sir. Entire screen. You have to select the entire screen, sir, not window. If you select the window, then it would be not visible, sir.
Oh, something wrong. एक मिनट चलो एक मिनट কি করে হবে প্রেজেন্টেশন পিপিটি আমি এটা সমস্যা করছে এন্টার স্ক্রিন দেন here it is it is not showing কি অসুবিধা হচ্ছে হ্যাঁ
एक बार आपको बंद करना पड़ेगा अपना
विंडो এটা full screen नहीं हो रहा है ना ये. Now it is in full screen, madam.
Sir, no, sir. Sir, slides are visible, not full screen. But sir, you can carry on, sir. You can just say, sir. We will be able to hear you, sir.
Yeah, it is
Okay,
visible.
I'm very sorry for disturbing all of you. Today's chief guest, Mr. Bijin Krishna, Managing Director, West Bengal Milk Federation, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor C.K. Guha, Professor T.K. Maiti, Dean, Faculty of Dairy Technology, Professor Nilotpal Ghosh, Dean, Veterinary Faculty, Professor Abraham, Dean, access to the organized market, and dairy farmers did not receive remunerative return. But today this situation has changed, and this is because of that Amul, popularly known as, and the Operation Flood by NDDB under the leadership of Professor V. Kurien, Dr. V. Kurien. India is the largest milk producer country for the last 2 decades. It is happening, and production is growing at the rate of 5 to 7% during the last 6 years. If we see during 70s, 71, it was 20 million ton. We have reached to in 1920. We all know this. 1936 pre-independence, the Kaira District Cooperative Milk Producer Union Limited, it was established, and after independence, this Amul, this federation, what they did, they set up a marketing agency named the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, a 3-tier cooperative. This is the formal 3-tier cooperative journey in our country. And subsequently in 1965, NDDB was established because this model was successful. And in 1970, the NDDB was given the responsibility to formulate a blueprint for the milk revolution across India in the form of popularly we know Operation Flood 1, 2, and 3 from 1970 to 1996, 26-year journey. And that gave us this particular stupendous growth in the milk production in our country. And NDDB supports the development of dairy cooperatives. Maybe the data is what Professor Shanal was telling, maybe they private large dairies, and 32% by the unorganized sector. But if we see that from here, I'm drawing this data here, which part of the country, say north, south, west, and east, what is the proportion of milk procured by these sector? That is, if you see 55.3% is coming from the western region, and 27% is coming, 28% is coming from the southern region. Western and southern part is actually supporting this organized sector for our milk requirement in the processing industry. And if we see the eastern part, it's only 5.6%. That is a not very satisfactory situation. And another data, it is that about 40% of the milk sold, it is handled by the organized sector, and 60% by the unorganized sector, by halwai and local sweet shop. But in developed countries, it happened 90% by the organized sector. So this cooperative, we could see during the COVID period, we know it is a not national, it is a global havoc. The data collected, we could see that during 1920 and 2021, the milk collection of this cooperative sector did not reduce, rather it was enhanced, but this sale was not that substantial. So there is a reduction in the sale. What they did, they converted the surplus milk into the powder, which supported these dairy farmers to sell their milk who are involved in the cooperative sector. What I mean to condition also, they did not suffer much, but in the unorganized sector, they suffered a lot. So what this opportunity I find for this region is Government of India under the National Action Fund for Dairy Development to increase the share of organized milk handling. And they have a plan to increase the 40% this handling to 50% by 2024. For this purpose, a corpus fund of animal husbandry infrastructure development fund of 15,000 crore has been created for
support to dairy processing, value addition, and cattle field infrastructure. And this fund will be channelized mostly through NDDB. And India organized sector is expected to create additional milk processing capacity of 45 to say 50 million liters per day in the next decade. So here in this graph, I want to show here that in 1983, the milk contribution by this in the organized sector I'm talking, because we don't have data in the unorganized sector as well as the consumption, what is happening. There is a pool data we have. So it was 2.9 million in Gujarat. In West Bengal, it was 2.2. Subsequently, this differential has increased because of possibly cooperative has played a major role to play, because in the western region, we know cooperative is very much successful. Possibly we have a mile to go. And there is a scope for improving the productivity one hand. Second hand, whatever milk we are having, it has to go in the organized sector. So farmer will be certainly benefited. What we have observed in the western part of the country, especially Gujarat. So if we can do this thing, we can harvest this thing, harness this thing, it will be real tribute to Dr. Kurien for his contribution, what he has made, and he has showed an example which we can follow the same path in this eastern and northeastern region. I find that there is a huge scope for development in terms of productivity, in terms of procurement, in terms of processing by providing congenial environment. With this word, I thank you, and I'm sorry because I couldn't properly make it.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, once again, as you have very nicely shared with us the current days in our country. And sir, as you have pointed out that till today, that most of our milk in our country is handled by the unorganized sector. So there is a huge scope of improvement in our country. And as sir, from your slide, very nicely you have compared how the cooperative sector improved the milk production and processing in Gujarat, and how, but still now we couldn't reach that mark in our West Bengal. So I think, sir, we should be working on that field and we should be trying to improve our current scenario. Thank you once again, sir. So with this now, I would like to go to the chief guest of our today's occasion, Mr. Bijin Krishna, sir. But before sir starts his lecture, I would like to slightly introduce sir. So sir is presently serving as a joint secretary in Animal Resources Development Department of Government of West Bengal. Sir is also working as a managing director in West Bengal Cooperative Milk Producers Federation Limited, and he is also serving as a managing director in Bangla Dairy Limited. Apart from this, sir is the chief general manager of Mother Dairy Kolkata, and in past, sir has served as a commissioner of Howrah Municipal Corporation. So this was a very brief biodata of sir, but I am very sure sir has got a very extensive biodata. And apart from this, now I would like to request sir to kindly start its lecture. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude towards the university and organizers of today's function for letting me this opportunity to be among the esteemed panel of speakers, very knowledgeable and resourceful persons from the academics and the whole dairy sector as a whole. I respected Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, the explained Professor Sanal is there, Dr. S.M. Deb, Dr. Hema Tripathi, Professor Batabal, Dr. Haldar, and Dr. Devnath, and also Mr. Partho, who has been doing a great job in coordinating this online seminar for last 1.5 hours. This, while speaking in this August occasion of commemorating the 100th birth anniversary of Dr. Verghese Kurien, I feel very humbled and honored at the same time, because without any doubt, anyone can say that I am a baby in this in the dairy sector here, and perhaps the person with least exposure to dairy, but at the same time with a lot of responsibilities. And I'm a person by virtue of my chair, who can be held responsible or for whatever not so good things happened in the West Bengal dairy sector, and also my chair can be held responsible for taking up concrete actions for bringing out the sector or the sector in the state from such a state of affairs. So another point I would like to make is, again, I'm further honored and feel very deeply privileged for getting an opportunity to speak about Dr. Verghese Kurien. Incidentally, I hail from the same district as Dr. Kurien is, and he's a legend there, and he's a legend everywhere in the country. But again, we grew up hearing his stories, and such a person who has gone out and built such a strong institution and laid foundation for the transformation of our country. And there is no point. I feel that there is no point in talking about his life and his contributions, and but for the interest of the students and especially the younger people attending the seminar, a few things which we should be keeping in mind is Dr. Kurien came from a relatively well-off family, and with pretty much good connections he had with a lot of people, especially they were renowned people from the family. It's not like today. Okay, those days when you have some people who are largely connected in Delhi, it was something of a rare thing to happen for people. And in one way, in one word, you can say is a privileged young man. Got into one of the premier institutions of the country, who got a lot of exposure, got an opportunity to go abroad. And if he had followed the usual expected path, he would have settled somewhere in US, most probably. I mean, as he himself has mentioned multiple times, the kind of inner compulsions on either side, either to settle down somewhere in Michigan and continue his studies or something like that, and the other side of compulsion, the birthplace, the country to which he is born is pulling him back. So we feel lucky for that, because of that particular decision by which he decided to come back, and even then, with or without design, he ended up in the dairy sector, and from there it's history, and we know that how he transformed the whole sector, and still a leading light, a towering leading light for all of us who are in the sector. And we all look forward. We go back to his writings. We go back to his lectures as and whenever we feel like we are stuck somewhere, and how to take forward, how to mobilize people, how to build an institution. So I think institution building is the key takeaway from Dr. Kurien's teachings through his work. So how to build an institution and expand it, and most of all, to make it as a replicable model. Building up one's institution is fine. We can find a lot of institution builders, but to make it as a model so that it will get automatically replicated elsewhere. You lay out the standards and prepare the modalities for that, and keep keep some guidelines for it, and show them by example. The country and the rural folks, the producers, the milk producers, and everybody, every administrator and every government also took it very seriously and took it forward. So that is how the institution was built and replicated, and and it got into such a shape. It's not only Amul, it's every milk producer, a dairy cooperative society in the country, every milk union in the country, and every federation in the country, and all other institutions, even as Mr. Devnath said in the introductory words, the new company which we are setting up here, even we are also, even though it's a Section 8 company, we are also, taking inputs from the teachings of Dr. Kurien there. So coming to our, I won't take much time, so I just wanted to come directly to the topic which we are, the dynamic dairy cooperatives. The philosophy of cooperatives, or the philosophy at which or upon which Dr. Kurien could work upon and build this whole network of dairy sector. The philosophy was well established even before Dr. Kurien landed there, and we all know what the philosophy is, and the philosophy, the ideological backbone is still there. I mean, a lot of our discussions are focused around how the cooperative, in the last few years, maybe a couple of decades, it's not only the cooperative sector which is contributing to the dairy sector development of India. So the cooperative sector is still very strong, but there are regional imbalances, as Dr. Deb rightly pointed out in his presentation. There are regional imbalances. If we take the overall country and do a per capita kind of an analysis, if you do an absolute figures analysis, we may think that it's still strong, but there are areas of concerns, and there are at the same time a lot of opportunities to improve also. The cooperative sector in the country, and especially I would like to talk about, with a particular focus of the dairy cooperative sector in West Bengal, I would say there are challenges being posted upon the private sector is way we all have to think about. So such kind of pressures from the private sector, as well as from the other new concepts, not very new, but relatively new concepts, like say the farmer producer organizations, etc., etc. Or whether the dairy cooperative sector will reinvent itself and stand up to the challenges and transform itself, keeping the basic objective and the philosophy behind the cooperatives. So these are some questions which we all are facing every day, and we all are in the process of finding out an answer and some directions for that. So when you say the challenges faced by the cooperatives, one can ask, even if you ask a child or any dairy milk producer in the village, the survival of the cooperative sector is for whose interest? Okay, when we emphasize that dairy cooperative sector should survive and should sustain and should excel and transform and reinvent, the critical question there is for whom, at whose interest? So that is where somewhere my personal understanding or my feeling is, Dr. Sannal also sharing something like that during his lecture. We had forgotten to address the fact that the farmer or the milk producer is the critical component, the most critical component for whom the whole dairy cooperative movement was started, and for whom it is supposed to exist. Our governance in the cooperative sector, the cooperative governance, say for example, if you take any milk union, except maybe 2-3 milk unions in West Bengal, the governance is the critical issue there. The whole cooperative milk union or the dairy cooperative sector is somehow running for the sake of running the administration, for the sake of running the administrative unit of the cooperative, and not for the producers. So how badly that is affecting the farmer, because the more heavy the organization is, the more heavy the administrative wing of the organization is, the lesser will be the share of marketable milk, the price of marketed milk getting transferred to the farmer. So that is where the kind of disconnect which we are facing these days, like either we'll have to increase the price of the produce, the processed goods, or we'll have to reduce the price to the farmer. And either way, the cooperative sector is going to make very, very blank, not used to in the full interest of the dairy farmers. That is where our entire cooperative sector lagged a little bit, and we are most of the cooperatives, milk unions in the district level milk unions are facing a very existential challenge here, and some are doing really well, but most of them are in a critical stage. So another factor which our cooperative organizations sometimes some people realize it very at a later stage, or some of them are yet to realize that there is no monopoly these days. Okay. When you say the best days of dairy cooperatives in West Bengal, those were the days where there was a monopoly of market as well as a monopoly of procurement. But these days, the monopoly part is missing from both sides. You don't have a monopoly in the raw milk procurement side. You don't have a monopoly on the marketing side. So the consumers are having multiple options. The producers are having multiple options. Now, the critical question comes here. So when I say that producers are having multiple options to choose from, and they need not always, cater to the dairy cooperatives. So are they happy with those options? So this is a very critical question coming up. So in multiple presentations today, it was shown that the quantity of raw milk procured by the organized sector, it varies. Say it's fluctuating, or maybe it hovers around say 10 to 12% maybe maximum if I put together everything and giving a buffer also. So that's the quantity of raw milk procured by the organized sector. Let's say a domestic consumption of say 30-40%. Even then, there is a huge 50 to 60% of the raw milk produced in the state, which is being handled by the unorganized sector. It's high time that we all combined in a combined way, take up some kind of a study to find out whether the producers are really happy or not with the kind of and in the unorganized sector, there will be middlemen, and a lot of middlemen and a lot of malpractices are there in the sector. So overall, considering this situation, it is high time to understand that we are not, if there is any competitive advantage the farmers are getting due to this from this unorganized sector. If that is the case, how can we ensure that the farmers still get that without disturbing the farmers' income? So these are the few potent questions which our sector is to understand. At the same time, there's a huge scope for improvement also. The organized sector, if it can ensure a remunerative price, certainty in pricing, and prompt payment, there is a scope for improvement, but it need not be at the cost of each other. Unfortunately, right now what's happening in this, at least I can talk about the status, the private sector, the cooperative sector is actually competing among each other for the raw milk, and the total quantum of raw milk procured by the organized sector is not coming up as it should have been, considering the new entry of private players. So it's basically eating into each other's share, but that particular unorganized sector is still more or less untouched. So that is where a critical inquiry has to happen, and we're all responsible for that. I think in a systematic way, this is to be made so that to understand whether there is room for further inroads for the private sector as well as the cooperative sector. So the cooperative sector is here to stay and will be improving itself, reinventing itself, and because ultimately if this sector goes out and if because the whole sector, the regulation in this whole sector is much lesser than the regulation in the other agricultural sectors. So the key point here is that there is ample space for and scope for expanding and making further inroads into the the milk sector. But the key question is, as I said, are we in a position to do that? Honestly speaking, the cooperative sector right now is not in a position to make quick inroads or quick turnarounds and all, but with some focused approach and taking some concrete measures, I still think there is, it's not too late to turn around the whole sector. The producers, leaving out the producers, or the producers being being left out, that is the critical thing which needs to be addressed upon. So to conclude, I would say now, or on these days, we need to put focus back on the producers. We need to explore means to coexist with other forms of entities, I would say FPOs or private sector, and that's a reality. That reality need to be understood. We need to improve the governance in the cooperatives, and after all, we all should continue learning from Dr. Kurien and how to build upon some basic foundations and philosophies, and how to build institutions, build and rebuild institutions, and reinvent ourselves. And I hope with good collaboration between between government, the cooperative sector, and most importantly the academia, especially the university, there is a scope for working together and and initiating very critical inquiries into the sector. And as I said, with keeping the farmer or the producer on the focus area. And if such kind of a collaborative effort is made, I'm sure that we all can make some differences, and that will be the best tribute which we can offer to Dr. Verghese Kurien. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you have very nicely thrown light on the life of Dr. Verghese Kurien, sir. So, in spite of getting such a bright opportunity in USA, he focused to improve the scenario in our country. And also, sir, you have very nicely pointed out that what are the current problems our West Bengal dairy cooperative is facing. So I hope, sir, under your leadership and with the collaboration between the administration and our academia, we would be able these problems. Thank you once again. Thank you, sir. So before going any further, now I would like to request our students to play the video so as to pay the tribute to Dr. Kurien, sir. So Orin Nandi, can you now play the video?
Yes, sir. I am present. This is the day of celebration for every dairy technologist on the auspicious occasion of Verghese Kurien, the milkman of India. Dr. Verghese Kurien, the father of White Revolution, born in 26th November 1921 in Kozhikode, formerly known as Kalikot in Kerala. Being graduated as a mechanical engineer from Madras, later he recruited in Tata Steel as a graduate engineer, but he left the job and went to Michigan State University to study. In 1949, Dr. Kurien was sent by the government of India to its run-down experimental creamery at Anand to serve 5 years as a dairy officer. During his stay in Anand, Dr. Kurien met with Mr. Trip sought his help to process the milk of farmers and formed a cooperative to purchase their milk at near Kaira district. Later, this cooperative named as Kaira District Cooperative Milk Producer Union Limited. Dr. Kurien joined as a general manager in KDC MPUL, popularly known as Amul Dairy. To increase its capacity, processing and better development, he trained himself in New Zealand and Australia. After this, with the collaboration of Sri Rajendra Prasad, the first president laid the foundation stone of this dairy by inauguration of a new dairy plant, increasing the capacity from 20,000 litre to 1 lakh litre milk per day. As farmers were facing problem by Dr. Kurien and his friend dairy engineer from America, H.M. Dlaya invented the process of making skim milk powder and condensed milk from buffalo milk instead of from cow milk in 1951. Because in India, buffalo milk was plentiful while cow milk was in short supply. NDDB is an autonomous body established by Government of India in 1965. The main purpose of establishing NDDB was to replicate the Anand pattern model in the rest of the country. Anand pattern is the term used for the model of cooperative dairy organizations developed in Anand of Gujarat. To carry out this function, NDDB selects the milk shed area for developing cooperative societies and producers technical help to ensure its growth. Our late Prime Minister Sri Lal Bahadur Shastriji wished that similar type of growth should also be there in other states of India. Due to his vision and wish, NDDB was established with its headquarters at Anand and under the chairmanship of Dr. Verghese Kurien. Operation Flood Project was the brainchild of Dr. Kurien. It was commissioned on 1st July 1970 by Government of India with technical help of NDDB and financial help of IDC. It was the world's largest food program conducted in 3 phases through a network of village milk cooperative. By end of Operation Flood in 1996, national milk grid linked milk producers throughout India with consumers in over 700 towns and cities. Dr. Kurien set up GCMMF in 1973 to bring the district cooperative of Gujarat under one umbrella. On the dairy cooperative movement led by Kurien was made by Syam Bengal in 1976, which was part financed by 5 lakh dairy farmers of Gujarat. Dr. Kurien established Institute of Rural Management Anand in 1979 to cater to rural managers in producers organizations. By establishing NDDB, IRMA and implementing world's largest food program, Operation Flood, Dr. Kurien transformed Anand as milk capital of India. Various international persons like Mr. James Callaghan, former British Prime Minister, etc., and national eminent person, he was awarded with Padma Vibhushan. Along with the Indian Dairy Association, resolved to observe Dr. Kurien's birthday, 26 November, as National Milk Day. Verghese Kurien, known as the father of the White Revolution in India, was a social entrepreneur whose billion-liter idea, Operation Flood, made dairy farming India's largest self-sustaining industry and the largest rural employment sector, providing a third of all rural income. That was a small tribute to Dr. Verghese Kurien, the milkman of India, by us.
Thank you, students, for paying such a beautiful tribute. So I think from your video, it was very nicely evident that how Dr. Kurien changed the entire dairy picture of our country. Thank you once again. So now we'd like to go to the president of our today's program, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor Chanchal Guha, sir. So, sir, you are muted, sir. Sir, you are muted, sir. Kindly unmute yourself.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Now
okay. So good afternoon, one and all. Now I'm really very much thankful and congratulate the organizing team. Particularly, this is the team which is taken by this pivot role by the dean, Professor Tarun Maiti, and his team, Lopamutra, this PI of this NAIP project, and they combinedly arranged a nice team to organize the celebration of this National Milk Day. So I think nothing is left regarding this about the background of the National Milk Day. So everything has been told by the number of learned personnel and the administrator who are attending this program. That is this chief guest, Mr. Bijan Krishna, the managing director and this of the West Bengal Milk Federation. The special guest, Dr. Dev, the head ICAR NDRI Eastern Regional Station Kalani, and the guest of honor, Dr. Hema Tripathi, the national coordinator, NAIF ICAR, other these faculty members, that is our Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Animal Sciences, Professor Nilotpal Ghosh, Professor Abraham, and our activities behind this background of this development of this dairy faculty. At the same time, he is taking a very important role in relation to the development of this dairy cooperative, at the same time working in collaboration with this government administration, that is our Bijan Krishnan, that they have developed this Bangla dairy, and this government requested me to give the expertise from the university. So immediately I recall Professor Sanyal is the ex-dean of our faculty of dairy science, as well as our dean, and I told them to make a team who can work very nicely to find out the avenues by which we can develop the dairy, particularly in relation to the livelihood developed way, the concept of this country. And Dr. Hema Tripathi, she nicely told about the development of the different cooperatives, at the same time the activities of this of the milk, this situation or this milk quantum regarding this global scenario, but we are really not in good position, as because we are having the huge population, the highest population of bovines in the world, but still only though we are covering 18% of the bovine population of this world, but still today we can cover up only 22% of the milk production of the globe. So now we must take care of huge attention how we can develop the milk production, because if you consider about these statistics, that is in 2015 and 16, it was about this 150 million metric ton. The targeted was in 2023-24 was the about the 300 million metric ton. But you know, this catastrophe, what is being taken by this COVID-19, it will drastically affect this milk production. Still, I'm very much helpfully approaching towards the target of our this milk production, what is being assigned. But considering this milk production, we have to take care of the certain constraints. We have production, that is the consumption, means the milk production, what is being consumed in our country, that is being consumed by the country itself, because there is no sufficient milk what we can export or we can get the money out of that milk production. At the same time, we should take much more care for the production of this milk, and there is some lot of problems for the feed and fodder, which we cannot produce sufficiently, which is very much essential need for the livestock development. Then we can go for the very, very particular care in relation to the development of the specific breeding process policy, because we should develop some breeding policy in relation to the particular agroclimatic conditions of the different parts of the country, so that we can get optimum milk production from the animals. At the same time, we have to develop some disease-resistant strain or disease-resistant breed, so that the number of diseases, particularly the number one disease, if we talk about this FMD, mastitis, these are huge damaging diseases which are really causes the catastrophe for the development of this dairy industry, not only dairy industry, for the livestock development. So we should take care of this part, and this is the real constraint for the development of this dairy industry. Then the proper education extension, as well as to the educated people, because nowadays number of educated people are coming for this profession, but we have to educate them in such a way that they should really be encouraged. At the same time, financially, we have to find out the ways how we can give some or we can provide some financial help to them, so that they will be encouraged to develop this, particularly in the dairy industry. Then at the same time, we should take care of the health of the animals, because that's a real problem. If we do not take care of the health of the animal, that is a very, very important component of the getting the optimum production. Then finally, we have to take care of the 300 million tons, metric tons in 2000. I'm very much confused to to know that how much milk is out of that, how much milk will be clean, because the clean milk is very, very important in relation to consider the public health importance. And finally, the marketing and the pricing, because if we go around the villages, then we can think that, or we can understand, or we can see the farmers, they are actually not getting the minimum, the production cost. So if we want to encourage them to improve the pricing of the milk, then we can encourage the farmers to bring in this profession. So in this way, so considering the concept or the theme of this, particularly this National Milk Day, finally, the very, very important, that is the dynamics of the 21st century dairy industry present a broad era of issues for dairy cooperatives as they plan and direct their operations to market members milk its best advantages. So with these few words and the objective of the theme, and considering this conclusion, we can go ahead with the maximum and healthy milk production. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, as you have very nicely pointed out the fact that even though we are having the largest bovine population in the world, which is 17%, but instead of that, still today also our milk contribution in globally is basically about 22%. So still now there is a huge scope of improvement for us. And I hope that by addressing the points which you have emphasized, that is by managing animal health, then by clean milk production, and also by proper management of feed and fodder, and by also addressing many other issues, we would be able to address all these problems. Thank you, sir. So with this, now we have generally come to the flag end of our today's program. So before closing this program, I would like to ask Dr. Lopamudra Halda, the PI of NAHEP IG project, to kindly address the gathering and deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank big thanks to all the dignitaries over here, but I just take a few second time to present something. So otherwise you can present, no problem. Okay, you present it, no problem. Okay. So it's an opportunity for me to convey our sincere thanks and gratitude to all the dignitaries and especially the learned fraternity present over here. Before that, let me start with a quote. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that the life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy. The famous quote of Rabindranath Tagore, perhaps truly reflected by the life and deed of the great visionary, the doyen of milk industry and the father of the white revolution, Dr. Verghese Kurien. So today we are enough fortunate to convey our sincere regards and respect and 100 candles to you, sir, Verghese Kurien, sir, whose pathway was shown by, is showing us that how to move forward to make a deficient country to the leader of the world, not for 1 year or 2 years, but consistently. And I hope that our beloved students, faculty members, and all staff, we can reach to you, sir, today to convey our sincere thanks and gratitude and our respect. We will definitely move on to your way. Today, in this occasion, with a very short notice, we have informed and we have invited few distinguished person from different corner of the country. And to begin with, our heartfelt gratitude to the Joint Secretary, Animal Resource Development Department, Government of West Bengal, respected Managing Director, West Bengal Cooperative Milk Federation, MD Bangla Dairy, and also Chief General Manager of Mother Dairy Kolkata. Many positions are held successfully by Mr. Bijin Krishna IAS. Sir, our heartfelt gratitude to you, because with a very short notice you have accepted our invitation, and long 2 hours you are staying with us in spite of your busy schedule. I hope that your dynamic leadership will definitely bring a phenomenal change in the dairying sector of West Bengal, and we will receive whatever support and help is required for successful running of our academics. In this regard, I must convey our sincere thanks and gratitude to all the MDs of the milk unions working successfully under the leadership of West Bengal Cooperative of Milk Federation, because not only for that many of them are present here today, also although those who could not be present today, wherever we approach them for any support for the training of our students, for any kind of other supports, we used to receive that. And definitely I hope that this relationship, what Bijin Krishna sir has also emphasized, that the industry and institute relationship, federation and institute relationship will be long lived, and we used to receive such kind of support from you, sir. Thank you for offering us with the real-time environment to enrich our academics. Let us come to Dr. Hema Tripathi ma'am. Ma'am, no words is sufficient to express my heartfelt gratitude and thanks. My sincere regards to you, ma'am. And Dr. Hema Tripathi, Principal Scientist and National Coordinator, National Agricultural Higher Education Project, Innovation Grant, and also the Monitoring and Evaluation Cell. So whenever, ma'am, your dynamic leadership and your mentoring ability definitely enriching us, and I think that we are in the correct path to get the success of the prestigious project of NAHIB. Today, again, you were there with us. As always, you are there with us. So, ma'am, again, heartfelt thanks and regards to you. In this connection, I must acknowledge the guidance of bestowed on us by the respected National Director, Dr. R.C. Agarwal, DDG Education, ICAR, and National Director of NAHIB. But today, due to some reasons, is not present over here. But I feel that his blessings and his moral support is always with us. I also gratefully acknowledge the fund received by the prestigious ICAR-World Bank funded National Agricultural Higher Education of Dairy Technology to be self-sufficient and to move ahead to receive many more in the near future. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind presence. ICAR-NDRI is our parental organization, and for the due to the locational benefit, we used to receive huge support and facility from ICAR-NDRI ERS Kalani. Dr. Shitangshu Mohandev, Principal Scientist and Head ICAR-NDRI ERS Kalani. Sir, you are with us, and our again heartfelt gratitude and sincere regards to you for being with us. And I hope that as this is a long-lasting relationship since beginning, since inception, we used to get huge support from you each and every day, and that will be continued. Thank you for your kind presence and very valuable words uttered by you. And again, just like the parental guidance we used to our students and our budding faculty members used to receive from you, and I hope that this relationship will be continued. In this regard, ladies and gentlemen, with heavy heart, I must express our heartfelt regards to the departed soul of late Dr. Manoj Ghosh, who also used to extend his tremendous support and guidance by his vivacious presence He is no more with us today, we all know. But sir, I believe that wherever you are, you will be fondly remembered by all of us forever, and your blessings, your support, will be always there with us. Thank you, Shitanshu sir, for. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Faculty of Dairy Technology and the Organizing Committee of National Milk Day Celebration 2021, I would like to extend sincere gratitude, respect and regards to Professor Chanchal Guho, Honorable Vice Chancellor, West Bengal University of Animal and Fishery Sciences, who presided over today's celebration in a very successful manner. Sir, we are grateful to have you with us and to get your mentorship to move dynamically to achieve our goal. Thank you, sir, for your kind presence. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to Directorate of Research Extension and Firm, Professor Shubhashish Bhattobal, and also Dean Students Welfare of our university, whose dynamic and charming personality always help us to overcome any kind of problem we face. Sir, thank you for your presence, not only in today's program, but always you are with us as the savior. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I'd like to extend hearty congratulations and heartfelt regard to Professor Partho Das, who has taken the charge. Thank you for your kind presence. I would like to express our thanks and gratitude to a very accomplished academician, Professor Maloy Kumar Sannal, the former Dean, Faculty of Dairy Technology, and definitely, personally, I can say one of our very enriched mentor, who used to guide us wherever we have any loopholes. Sir, I'm again thankful to you for your very valuable words, and especially I think from ICAR, Hema ma'am is there today. Definitely, your word that Bharat Ratna should be conferred to our beloved late Dr. Verghese Kurien. Definitely, ma'am, we will send a proceedings to you, and definitely it should be there to the Ministry of India government, so that in future we can see that our beloved Verghese Kurien is getting his able respect. So thank you, Shanal sir, for your dynamic words. It will be injustice if I simply extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to Professor Torun Kanti Maiti, the Dean, Faculty of Dairy Technology. Actually, whatever we are doing today, that is due to his motivation, his inspiration. A few days back, sir guided me that NAHEP should do a very befitting program to commemorate the birth centenary of Verghese Kurien. So, sir, not only for this program, the entire faculty is running under your able leadership, and NAHEP project is also trying to achieve its goal under your dynamic leadership. So it is not only gratitude, not only thanks, but my heartfelt respect and regards to you. I hope to receive such kind of guidance always from you. I must acknowledge that the NAHEP project could not be moved without the contribution of 4 pillars who are working with me untiringly: Professor Pinaki Ranjan Ray, Dr. Anindita Devnath, Mr. Kumaresh Haldar, and Professor Surojit Mondal. So these 4 pillars are working untiringly since the formulation of the DPR till today, and I hope that in future also such kind of cooperation will be there. Not only these 4 pillars, entire faculty crew are there with us, and the faculty is moving towards a better future. So I feel that this crew definitely will be successful to achieve the target. In this regard, today contribution by our very dynamic anchor, Mr. Partho Pratim Devnath, and who is there behind the screen to control everything, Mr. Kuntal Roy. So special nice invocation in Bengali to offer the respect to our Kurien sir. All and also Koshmanna, Arnab Das and Orin Nandi for their nice presentation. All young professionals and support staff of Nahepaiji, all staff of Faculty of Dairy Technology, without whose